Well, that was Doris Okanwa, the channel's television correspondent in the United Kingdom. So, well, we're talking about Nigerians in diaspora, and, well, it's not just exclusive to the United States alone. I liked the expression she used that, you know, Nigerians have been participating, Nigerians in the UK have been participating in the elections vicariously. Maybe not in real terms, but then, you know, participating through suggestions, maybe lending some form of support to whoever they are supporting on this side of the Atlantic, and, well, probably other ways that might not be entirely visible aside from the fact that they are not able to cast their ballots.
Which is the litmus test. That's what makes everything that they do on the outside count. So until that happens, it's still not.
Actually, a lot of that is already happening.
We had another first, actually, you know, talking about first, because I think in this election, we actually saw volunteers.
Exactly,
leave
that's
the
what
United States, leave the UK,
what I wanted to say.
and come and actually sit here with their candidates,
Yes.
Using their own resources, in some cases contributing, raising funds, and then coming here to physically help with the campaign.
I have a friend of mine. She came in January, in February, I think, in January to help support the party that she's supporting. And after the postponement, she went back, and then she came back again, I think last week, to work, and she's using her own personal resources. So that was a question actually I wanted to ask Kingsley in New York, if he was aware of a lot of people like that in New York coming out here. I know this one person, and I've heard of other people who have come out here to support their candidates and their parties using their own resources.
That takes a certain level of financial ability to do that, and not everybody that is over there can afford to do that.
Yeah, but those who can, and that is what makes I'm very excited by diaspora participation in politics, regardless of which party they support. And I tell you why. Because they've lived in societies where the bar is a little bit higher. I think if they were able to participate in our political process, they would force us to sort of raise standards. That's one. Two, they live in societies where politics is not about personal promotion. And so they've sort of learned that actually it is okay for you to take your personal resources to promote an idea or an ideology that you believe in and that is for the greater good. And those are the sort of cultures that I think we need to imbibe as a people locally, because it will only help us. And so this is why I get excited when I hear there are volunteers leaving from the UK, leaving from the States, coming here, because they're also leading by example. They're saying this is what is possible.
And I think yesterday or 2 days ago, when I was here, I raised the issue of money in politics here. There's money in politics in the US, money, but in many cases it's the other way around.
Oh, let's not talk about that. No, don't even go there.
Let me make the point, because actually I'm confirming what you just said, but let me make the point. I mean, people, ordinary people donating to campaigns, giving money to politicians to help with their campaigns. So when, so you were saying about it takes financial ability to do that. Sometimes maybe not. It takes a belief, faith in the process, in the candidates, in the party, for somebody to say, okay, I'm going to get a ticket or credit card or whatever it is and go out there and help out and contribute. And volunteering is really volunteering. You're not there expecting to be paid for that. So that's the kind of thing that we need to move towards. And I think one of the campaigns here in this cycle started raising money from people. I think they did the SMS thing, you know, it's like 100 naira here, whatever. We need to move to that point where Nigerians will invest economically in political parties, in their candidates, because when they do that, they can hold those candidates accountable. So if I contributed to your campaign as an average person, I'm going to expect more from you than just a bag of rice.
Well, with the reputation of some of the politicians, that's a bridge too far for now.
Yeah, but
where they're the ones that have so much wealth
Yeah, but we need to move towards that so that you don't have to be very wealthy to be able to run for politics. So, excuse me, sir. So somebody like you, if you have a vision, a passion for service, but you don't have the money, you can run and know that your people who believe in you will donate 100 naira
That would be a very good
for
way.
you to get there. Because if we're just waiting for all the money bags to run, then Nigerians, the average Nigerian, will still be where he or she is right now. Get the 500 naira, and then that's all you get out of it.
I remember
Professor Obongakpan, you have actually taken us very unobtrusively into the other issue I actually would have wanted us to discuss here, and that is the present culture of the monetization of politics in Nigeria. Yes, money does play a very important role, but what you're suggesting would mean just turning tradition on its head. Because you are talking about Nigerians contributing to but on the other, it's the other way round.
Yeah,
what
now
politicians give money. Yes, politicians are actually the ones who do the spending.
There was a purse opened by the APC for General Buhari, where it was said that Nigerians should. How many people took that seriously?
I think people did donate.
People started donating.
People donated.
It was not the people's funds.
I will address that issue in this intervention. Look, you know, quite interestingly, we've not always been like this. Political party funding in Nigeria, political history, or the history of political party system in Nigeria has not always been in the hand of certain money bags, while the ordinary people are left out of the process. In the First Republic, go and check out all the books you may read on it. The political parties that emerged through contributions of ordinary people. They had membership card, so that far in the villages and everywhere, rural dwellers and all that were contributing to that party, or to those parties that existed around that period. Of course, the First Republic came, the first school came, and then we had the Second Republic, and things started changing. And of course, by the time we got to the Third Republic, you had a regime that said, we want this party to be funded by government, a little to the left, a little to the right. So don't contribute money. We'll be secretariat for you and all that. So, and then Fourth Republic, the money bags came and hijacked this process. So from a rather, very noble beginning in terms of political party funding, we've now gravitated towards the stage when political party is monetized right now, and then the consequences are there for all of us to see. Now, the example you've given in this election cycle was that the APC, and that's quite interesting, went out and started soliciting funding. And I thought that if that campaign had run successfully without any itch, without its truncation by the NCC, that had now been damnified by a court of law that said, why did you prevent that party from generating those funds? I think that that could have been a precursor to a new era of a party reaching out to the ordinary members to be funding the party and win itself away from the money bags. Because you see, let's face it, either in terms of running for election, somebody says he wants to go to the Senate and he has a war chest of 2 billion naira for his campaign. So do you need any soothsayer to tell you that if he gets there, it's not responsible to you? Along the way, he gives you bags of rice, gives you all sorts of things you take. So you've collected your money up front. So he goes in there, he's not going to represent you. You cannot own him as to be able, as his constituent, to dictate to him, we put you there. Now, the whole idea of a candidate, a political party receiving funding from ordinary people, from college students, as Obama did successfully and all that, which many people think cannot be replicated. It can't be replicated. Is that once you do that, even if we're dealing with people who are without conscience, they will at least remember. Because that issue, goes around there. You hear ordinary people say that, how are we going to do this? We've collected money from ordinary people and all that. They are sweat, will haunt us. now they are totally disconnected. They feel that it's their money that they spent to buy their way to power.
And then when they get there, they have to
They're not going to be responsible to you.
No,
So
the
how
first
do
thing
you,
is to
how do you,
recoup-
how do you
is
stop
to
that?
recoup
Is
what
it
they-
to make laws that will prevent?
Oh, it's not everything
Someone
you
talk,
can
we
There is
talk,
a law in place.
apart from law,
It's not
apart
everything.
from law, there is political culture, there the political ethics. So I think that is more of an ethical issue than the law is there. For example, political party funding, and the relevant provisions in the Electoral Act are Section 91 and 92. They're very clear. You cannot exceed this threshold. But what have we seen in this last election? And I'm not going to name any party. Exceeded the threshold, and it was justified that it was the party that was donated to, not an individual, and all that. So the law will be there, but it's not going to change much. And INEC, that was fighting for its own survival, was not even in a position to enforce any law. I mean, INEC, you wake up every day and you see people, don't remove him. That INEC was not in a position to even enforce any law regarding political party funding. It was as bizarre as that. So, for me, rather than, we will need to enforce our laws, but we must deliberately and carefully work towards the ideal that will say that once you allow these systems to be hijacked and corrupted by a few who have all the money, who fund the process, as it is said, who dictate the piper, who pays the piper, dictate the tune. They are the owners of the party, and they can tell you, what do you mean? We own this party, we fund it. You are just a tenant in a political tenement, so we can throw you out if we like. So once we diffuse contribution, so that no one singular contribution is huge enough to lay claim to the ownership of the party, that's when we start winning the party off the control of few individuals.
You're saying
and all
our accountability problems are directly traced.
And when you are talking
to
about
the
law,
funding.
on top of my head now, when you're talking
yes.
about law, indeed a law can be inserted in the Electoral Act that political parties should source its funding primarily from contributions and all. It may sound esoteric,
Yes,
to compel that situation so that you
To
won't have
stop.
one person saying that, yes, I'm putting
that's
20.
that's where I was
That-
going. That's what I
that-
meant.
that's
Of
back
course,
to
when
something
also do we
quickly.
come to reorienting the mind of the ordinary Nigerian, because it has now become part of our psyche, or largely part of our psyche, that look, before you vie for any political office, there are people you need to see. Maybe you need to visit the elders in your hometown to seek their
Anybody
approval.
that's doing that is a potential executive or legislative robber. I'm telling you, look,
No.
I'm eking out a living as a professional, as a lawyer. Okay? Even at my most altruistic, I would then take my head resources and then be bribing people ahead of an expectation that they will vote for me. If I want to do that, then they must have the assurance that I won't get in there and work for them. Okay? So, anybody that is doing that, you must realize that it is not altruism, it's not desperation to serve. Nobody does that kind of thing. And so, right from the beginning, you must know that it's not going to work for you. It's not going to work for the ordinary people. Once you accept it as a norm, that people come and then they start dishing out money and all that, it's not going to work for you. So the moment somebody starts doing that, it should be possible for people in our society, in the church, everywhere to decry that and say, this is not the way.
Now, you're
That's the
talking
point I'm
from the
making.
point of view of someone who is seeking a political office, but then I am looking at it from the point of view of, the constituents themselves. Someone comes to you with empty hands and tells you, look, I want to go and serve you. I want to improve your lot. Usually the response is, well, okay, show us, prove to us that you actually have the mind for it from your own little resources, showing us an example of
Let
what
me
you
tell you
will
a
do
story.
when you
Let me
get
tell
there.
you- let me tell you a
Let me just
story.
say this way.
Is that what you're doing?
I won't take a long time. Charles, I'm telling you
But
that if I want to